101 Part-Time Jobs just reached over 400 episodes, and we just won 2 Independent Podcast Awards, one for Best Music Podcast and the other for Best Jingle, which we're very pleased with. We're an independent music podcast, and we've been able to do so by advertising, working with brands and companies who we like and we believe in. We want to keep this show free and accessible to everyone. So for the next few minutes, you're going to be hearing some sponsored messages, and then we'll be on with the episode. Thanks for your support. Hey, do you play in bands? I did for the longest time, and I wish that I knew that DistroKid was a thing. I don't even think it existed back then. DistroKid makes music distribution fun and easy with unlimited uploads, and artists keep 100% of your royalties and earnings. 1 million plus artists rely on DistroKid to get their music on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, TikTok, Tidal, Instagram, and all the major streaming services. When you get DistroKid, you can see a DistroKid bank and withdraw your earnings. You get notified when you've earned royalties, and you can withdraw via the app. And you can even check your streaming stats on Spotify and Apple. Get 30% off your first year on DistroKid by going to distrokid.com/VIP/101pod. 30% off for your first year. That's not bad. We know it's a tough world out there. Why don't you make it easier for yourself? And to get 30% off that free year as an artist, where you get 100% of your royalties and earnings, go to distrokid.com/VIP/101pod. All right, stay with me. I'll be right back after this.
Gift the remarkable with Marc Jacobs fragrances this holiday season. From the iconic Daisy and Perfect to the all-new Daisy Wild, Marc Jacobs perfume gift sets include everything she needs to feel special. From her favorite fragrance, plus the matching travel spray, holiday gifts don't get much more perfect than this. So if you're looking for a gift inspiration these holidays, gift the remarkable with Marc Jacobs.
With Lululemon, the real gift happens when they're living in it. When you give the fan favorite everywhere belt bag, the real gift is... And when the ultra-soothing rest feel slides are the gift, you're really giving them... This holiday, Lululemon makes it easy to give little luxuries that go beyond. Open the moment. Shop now at Lululemon.com.
All right, you're listening to 101 Part-Time Jobs with me, Giles Bidder. It's where we hear from bands and artists about everything that goes into making a record, going on tour, living a life as an artist. I think that there's beauty in the mundane and definitely some stories worth sharing from the chaos. On today's episode, we hear from Lee Hutson, just released his 5th album, Paradise Pop 10. I saw Jeremy Bolm from Touche Amore, and he's got a great podcast too, talk about Lee Hutson and this new record as being there at a time when you need a friend. And I think that's completely true. There's like a feeling of your head hitting your pillow when you listen to this record. And it's loud, it's soft, some amazing lyrics. So this is 101 Part-Time Jobs with Lee Hutson. I hope you enjoy it. If you do, make sure you subscribe to this show. We put out 2 episodes every week with bands and artists who we think are great. Sometimes you've heard of them, other times not, and we want you to hear them because that's how this goes round. You introduce a friend to some record, you fall in love with it, you go see them, they become a soundtrack to your life. That's the real beauty of music. After the jump, it's Lee Hutson here on 101 Part-Time Jobs. 101 Part-Time Jobs. Hey.
Oh, hello. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. You got me?
Yeah, I've got you.
Excellent. How's your day been?
It's been pretty good. We've been in the van all day.
Okay, what do you do to recover from the van legs, the car legs?
On the longer drive days, I usually just get directly into bed and go to sleep. I used to run a lot. I haven't been able to run on this tour because I have a running injury right now, so I'm meant to be just stretching.
Yeah, what is it? Is it ACL, meniscus? Do you know what it is?
No, it's plantar fasciitis. It's like a common, yeah, a common impact injury.
Yeah, how tall are you?
I'm 6'1".
Right, so I'm 6'3", and I've had those injuries where it's like, I go from 5K to 10K too quickly.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, something's happened. You feel it, and it does not feel good, does it? It's like,
yes, no, it's the worst.
Stand on it.
It's the worst. Yeah, it feels like you have bruised heels all the time.
Not as bad as gout, I would go on record to say.
We don't have a lot of gout in the U.S. though. Every person I've met with gout has been in England for some reason.
It's funny because it's not like you have less meat or less red wine or less mozzarella.
No, I don't know why I don't encounter anyone with gout in the U.S.
Do you know what? It's got such a it's such a taboo to have gout.
Oh, is it?
You don't want to admit it. I mean, I felt incredibly embarrassed to like text my pals and be like,
"Guys, I can't come out tonight. I have gout."
It's hemorrhoids all over again.
Oh yeah, it is the hemorrhoids of the foot.
100%, and it's actually extremely painful.
Really?
Yeah, really. Like you needed crutches. Have you ever are you injury prone?
No, not usually. I've gone from I was running like a maniac. That was what did it. But no, I'm not usually very injury prone.
What got you into running? Because I do see a kind of parallel there with songwriting, where it's like you can go every day, but it's also it's different every day.
Yeah, I think I started running for mental health reasons, mainly just to kind of clear my mind. Mm-hmm. And then I kind of got addicted to it through COVID and have ever since been trying to figure out a healthier way to do it because it's so taxing on your body.
Mm-hmm. And you're like every day, every other day?
I do 2 days on, 1 day off when I'm in my regular schedule, but I haven't run for like a month now and it's driving me insane.
Have you noticed your songwriting differently, or like your brain like thinking about songwriting, or like the kind of like the problem solution kind of way of thinking about songwriting, or is it more of a distraction?
It's a little bit of a distraction. I noticed that I just generally have a more positive outlook because of it. So and am generally less self-critical across the board when I run.
Yeah.
It's like a nice way to ease into the day in a nice way. There's
do the morning.
Yeah, I usually do the morning. My therapist talks about making the bed. If you metaphorically make the bed in the morning, you're likely to do kind things for yourself the rest of the day. And so that's been my making the bed for the last 4 years. Good
run of it. 4 years is a pretty long time. Doing stuff in the morning is super important because I could be playing songs really at night. You can go out at night. You can go out and you could wake up at, depending on what you got going on, you could wake up at 12, 2 in the afternoon. You don't need to wake up any earlier than that sometimes.
You don't need to though. I'm a very bad sleeper, so I generally am awake 6, 7 in the morning.
Damn. Okay. So is it like a early morning thing? You'll just wake up.
I'll usually wake up and just make a coffee and pitter around for like an hour or two and then go for a run.
Yeah. That's nice because at least you don't ever feel like you're in a rush to do anything. My whole thing was like I ran to work every day of my life. Oh God. Until fairly recently.
On tour I would do it a lot in the past, and then you are kind of in a rush. You're like, all right, got to wake up at 5:15 if I want to make this run before van call.
Yeah.
But when I'm at home, I make my own schedule, so it's kind of whenever I want. But you definitely find excuses to sack it off.
And you're in New York now. Paradise Pop 10 is it sounds to me like the New York
Yeah.
City record.
Yeah, I'm in New York. I've been in Atlanta for the last year or so, but I technically live in New York.
Yeah. How come Atlanta?
My girlfriend is working down there, so she's been working there for a year, so I've been just down there, hanging out with her. That's been our home base for the moment.
Does she work in TV or anything like that? Is that what she's based on?
Yeah, yeah. She has a TV show she's shooting down there.
Okay. What is it? Are you allowed to say?
It's Stranger Things.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Cool.
So she's been doing that for a little while, or for a long while, but this year has been since January.
Yeah. Who is your partner? Is she acting or is she working behind the camera?
Yeah. Her name's Maya Hawke.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. She's all over the record. I didn't know you were together. Right.
Yeah. So we've been down there with our little dog, just hanging out.
Yeah.
And working from there for this year.
Have you found that you can set up and like get your room, get your corner to write? You know, if you have like a writing schedule, you know, whether it's writing lyrics, whether it's time to just noodle around, do you make space for yourself to do that?
I kind of just leave open time to do it because I can do it almost anywhere as long as I am not planning to. If that makes sense. Like it's if I don't really have an office or anything like that, or like a chair or a special place. I like to move around a lot. So usually the best situation for it is if there's nothing to do the rest of the day, and I know that something has the possibility to arise then.
Yeah, because you want to be there for when it comes. It's like kind of like a Lennon-McCartney thing, isn't it? It's like you put up your antenna and you're there to receive it.
Exactly, just kind of wait. And I feel like at times in my life when I've tried to force it, I'm really unhappy with the results.
Yeah, and that's the whole irony of it, right?
Yeah,
it's like, you know, 101 part-time jobs. That this show started because I was interviewing friends who were in bands and they'd go on tour a lot and inevitably get a new job when they got home.
When they got home, yeah.
They burnt the bridge of the pizza place or cafe shop, repeat, rinse and repeat. And over years, as the podcast has grown and I keep on interviewing people whose music I love and our team loves, it's like we're speaking to a lot more people who are doing it full time. And the kind of angle is like everything's work. Right? Everything's brain work, emotional work. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. You know, I think so many people, myself included, you're taught when you're younger that work's going to suck and you just got to suck it up, you know, but
totally.
If you're able to reframe it somehow, it takes a couple of years to do the reframing and get yourself in a good place. But taking something that you really enjoy doing seriously is the coolest fucking thing ever.
It really is. I think so too. I mean, and also allowing yourself to have a good time doing it, like having enough respect for it that you want to do a good job, but also enough not taking it so seriously that you that your ego becomes too involved in it.
Yeah, yeah, and because the serious that it's like a fine line, isn't it? It's like, every day's new, every day's carte blanche.
Yeah, yeah. For me, the trick has been trying to figure out how to have my identity not hinge on it.
How so?
Well, just when your identity, if the podcast is your sole identity, the days you're not doing the podcast, you might not feel like you are worth much or something.
Yeah.
Or working on something for it. And I've struggled with that as a songwriter, occasionally being like, well, that's all I am. That's the only thing that gives my life value. And so the days where I'm unable to perform or do that are just like wasted days where I'm like an in-between person. But I haven't felt like that in a long time, which is good.
That is good. It's the kind of thing that you can't really define, can you? It's
Yeah.
like, it's a feeling. You only know it from, it's a bit like love, it's like,
Yeah.
you can't, how do you say it? I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah. And yeah, definitely. I don't know how you say it. You can think that you know it too for a long time and then just reveals itself to you
Yeah.
out of nowhere.
You go all those years, you're like, oh,
And it's
fuck.
like, oh, fuck, wow. I was so wrong. What was that other thing?
When was the last time you felt like that? You're like, oh, that thing that I thought was true, actually, maybe that's not right.
I've this last year or so, it's been a lot of moments like that. I would say that love is one of them. I feel like I'm like this year is like a great realization of it was a lot of like a work on love and loving myself and loving another person and realizing that when you are in love, the feeling that it creates is not a feeling of scarcity, but it creates more love, and it makes it so that you have space, or at least that's what I'm experiencing. It makes it so that you have like a seemingly infinite amount of love for other people as well.
Yeah. It's like saying thanks to the bus driver when you get off.
Yeah, exactly. Just like, wow, what a beautiful world.
Yeah. Yeah.
101.
You started playing pretty young, didn't you? So you must have felt like you've had a few different lifetimes as a songwriter, working with different people, doing your own solo stuff.
I feel like I've had about 30 lifetimes. I forget sometimes that all of the different people I've been.
Your Discogs is pretty extensive.
It's a very funny Discogs. I haven't been on there in a while, but occasionally I'll meet somebody at a show that has unearthed some old thing I would rather stay buried.
And the thing is with like production, I imagine so much production early on, or even throughout, it's like you're there with a friend or someone, a songwriting partner, and you're producing it because it's a necessity. Like you're the person in the room with fingers.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I have such a nebulous grasp on what production really even means.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
enabler.
Yeah, enabler. Allowing for music to happen.
Yeah.
Creating a space for people to be themselves.
Yeah.
And to be the most themselves that they can be.
That's such a trick, isn't it? And everyone really should be trying to do that.
They should. I mean, there's a different style of production that's like forcing your vision onto something that I feel like it's a harder. I don't know how much respect I have for it.
Not to diss just like a whole genre of music, but what I was exposed to growing up, and I was into sort of more indie rock, punk rock, some hardcore punk, but there was a lot of like local metalcore that would be like, oh, this just sounds kind of like shaped, like forced into a box. It almost sounds boxy. That's what I can imagine, like being like, no, don't be yourself, do it this way.
These are the rules.
And obviously that happens in all kinds of music, but it just depends what you're exposed to, and exposure's taste, right?
Yeah. But it's cool to borrow. I mean, I feel like if you free yourself to borrow from anything that you like, then it's the removal of rules.
Yeah.
Or the restructuring of rules. There are different rules for different songs as becomes like a game that you play.
When did you learn that? I mean, did you have any kind of breakthrough moments and you're like, oh, I can just do this. There are no rules.
I learned that through just meeting people and playing with people. I used to have like kind of I have like I don't know what genre of music I make, and so that's always made me feel, I think, a little bit like I don't know where I belong or what world it belongs to, because I like so many different things. And I think just meeting different people along the way that were, my friend Phoebe that produced my last three records was a good teacher by example of that, of just like letting things be simple and be what they are, and the idea that you need to start with drums when you're recording, or whatever rules, because I feel like when you're on your way through the weird world of music, the first people that you usually meet are the people who are really rigid thinkers, or something like really by the book. We start with drums and then bass, and then we do scratch everything, like in a production sense and in an arranging sense, really. And so that sets you up in a place where you're like, oh shit, there's like only one right way to do it, and it has to be done that way, or else it's not going to be legitimate or something. And Phoebe is really good at deconstructing that and being like, well, it could just be like an album of voice memos if you wanted, or we could just do like doesn't matter.
Did it blow your mind when Phoebe got massive? I guess it kind of happened over a period of years, right? But being so close to it,
yeah,
what was it like?
it kind of. I mean, it made sense, but it was just exciting because it had felt like it had been a long time since. It had felt like it had been a long time since anything that like was really lyrically focused had any attention. So the feeling among my friends, I think, are included, it was just like nobody is ever going to pay attention to this because it's about words and it's quiet or slow or doesn't have tempo or whatever the other lies that they tell you about what things need to be in order to succeed. It felt like a nice victory for people who care about that side of songwriting.
Yeah.
And it was incredible. It's still like watching her career has been one of the most emotional things that has happened in my life. Just getting to go see her at like the Eras tour or something, and just being like, fuck, there's like 70,000 people here. It's insane, singing these songs that you wrote.
And there's darkness. I think that was one of the things that I first sort of felt, where people at work would be going to her shows in 2018.
Yeah.
And that's something that I really kind of noticed, is that maybe these people who I didn't think maybe listened to songs that felt quite dark, like they really found a reflection in it. They were being spoken to.
Yeah. I think that was a cool thing. Yeah, it's like everyone, it reminded you how much people were feeling around you, and cared to have their lives reflected, their feelings reflected back to them.
Yeah.
Where before that, I felt like it was kind of a period of time of, to me, just like kind of like getting fucked up music or something like that, is from what I remember observing, is like not feeling like I had any emotional connection to what was really popular.
There is like a thing about guitar music right now, like an indie rock and lyrics, that it does feel like a really special time. I mean, I love reading Stereo Gum, and that's the kind of thing that me and my brother, who's a lot bit older than me, and we kind of lost touch for a couple of years, we kind of rekindled our relationship through our love of Stereo Gum, and just, have you heard this, with a link? It's now's a great, really nice time.
Yeah, it is really nice. It's a really nice time. It's like there's so much to everywhere you turn. You can kind of find for someone like me, you find something that is really inspiring. Mm-hmm. And for a minute, it was like just returning to like, oh, I guess I have to listen to like records from when I was a kid or earlier, or just kind of dig for things. And now I feel like I can walk out of my house and go to a bar and find something cool anywhere I go.
And that skews the definition of success, because you could have a band that totally rips and 20 people know them.
Exactly.
It happens all the time. There's thousands of them.
It does happen all the time. I mean, there's probably more than that. I mean, it's a very funny I don't know how things catch on or don't catch on. I don't know what makes what makes people hear about something and others, and what makes people not hear about things.
So you're not a marketing genius after years in the game?
No, I don't know if anyone is, though. I'm like, as I watch people do this and as I like have been working in it for so long, I'm like, I feel like what is actually happening is everyone is guessing at every step of the way, all the time, always, and no one has any idea what's happening.
And then something like takes off, like something.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you hear that song at a party, you're like, oh, you're into this.
Exactly. And then it's like a nice little ember that grows into like a big wildfire.
101 part-time jobs, 101 part-time jobs.
What's your relationship with Maya's dad like?
It's great. He's awesome. I would say that he's like my good friend. I love talking to him. He's an amazing artist and man.
Good music taste. Do you talk about music?
Totally. Yeah. Like we actually have like hilariously compatible musical tastes. I joke sometimes it's like he's like the prototypical best friend that I never had.
Yeah.
And that we have all of the same reference points, which often makes me feel like I'm like, fuck, am I old? In my musical taste, am I like about 20 years older than I am?
Yeah. My girlfriend, now fiance, as of last weekend.
Oh, congratulations.
We were in the car, we were driving late back to their house in Germany after a night out. It's like 1 a.m, and something came on the radio, and her dad, who doesn't speak very much English, asked her a question, and Eva was like, Giles, what's this song? And I forget what song it is now, but it's like, I'm a joker, I'm a late night toker. Who's that guy? Jim something.
Who is that guy?
Anyway, I knew it at the time. I was like, oh, it's this. And I just in that moment, I earned his respect.
Oh, it feels so cool when you do that with your partner's parents. You're like, oh, fuck
just
yeah.
Older people.
Stamp of approval.
People are so judgmental. Oh, you haven't heard that record?
Yes.
Oh, you don't know what that is? I mean, little does that respect the actual fact, which is if you get to listen to something for the first time, that is the best feeling.
It is incredible to get to. There are so many things I would kill to listen to for the first time again, just to feel like, fuck, you return to it. Sometimes the feeling's worn off.
Wow. I've got a tip for you if you can write this down. Andrew Waslyk.
Yeah. Andrew Waslyk.
Waslyk, I think. He's a Scottish composer.
Okay.
And he's got this song called Last Sunbeams of Childhood. And I wish I could go back and listen to that. In the second verse, I was having like a psychedelic experience. It was like, I've heard this song before, but I hadn't. It was like, but that was just, I've just heard one verse before that. And it's just an amazing song. I feel like it's my duty to tell you.
Fuck yeah. I'm always looking for I want that good feeling. I want a song that I can listen to like 17 times in a row is what I'm generally looking for.
Set it to your alarm. Jobs! 101 part-time jobs. I guess most of your work has been collaborating with people, getting in the studio and playing guitar. Is that right?
Yeah, I've got like really lucky a few years ago that was able to become my full-time job. But that has been a lot of my work within that and songwriting the last 7 years.
Yeah. And was that happening? Did that happen in one fell swoop? that it was like, okay, I'm getting paid that £1,000-3,000 or dollars in my bank account. This is it. I play guitar now. This is my living.
No, not exactly. It kind of happened. It was like, yeah, I don't know. It kind of happened slowly. And then I would like supplement with little things, but it's been a long time since I've had like a traditional part-time job. Like I would always be like, all right, I'm going to stretch this. I was more like let's make me as miserable as possible and stretch my budget. Like how many peanut butter scoops of peanut butter do we have to eat to technically live?
Yeah.
Kind of lifestyle, as opposed to looking for another part-time job because I was touring quite a bit.
I often think about the tension between that. I think a lot of comedians have a similar experience. I not a little while ago read that book by Judd Apatow. His interview thing, and I think it's amazing when you read about all these famous, really famous comedians and how they were. I mean, it's a cliche, but it's like being you're a bit poor, your skin, for a few years back then, and I often think like there's. As someone who lives in London and never really spent any time in Hollywood or LA, there's this real tension between people making loads of great art and not making any money in this kind of world that's made of money.
Yes. I'm very confused by it constantly. I'm like, where, there has to be money somewhere, surely. And I never know exactly where it is. I mean, I feel like it's obvious in music that I feel like with the streamers, it's with people like Spotify and people like that. But yeah, I don't know. Musicians are classically, and I feel like comedians are probably this way as well, but they're like historically now, or at least for the last 20 years or so, used to having the thing devalued so much that they will, but they will do it no matter what the how much they're getting paid for it, and so I suppose we screw ourselves over in that sense by refusing to stop. I feel like if there was some kind of global union or something like that for artists and songwriters, maybe there would be a little bit more money injected into the pockets of people making great art. But I don't know if that will ever happen.
I think the most realistic / unrealistic thing that I can think of is universal basic income, where people are topped up to help pay their rent if they're not making enough, or it's like the Dole, all the like Oasis, Pulp, Suede, all those bands were on the Dole when they started, and it gave them 5 years to practice, to learn their craft. I mean, this seems just like glaringly obvious. Like, let people have some time to work out something, how they do something, and then they'll make the world a better place.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of hilarious that no one has figured that part out, or like that the people with the money haven't figured out that it actually does make the world a better place. And I don't know if people are allowed to make good art, if you like, even those people they'll be able to fucking line their pockets. Jesus Christ, like they'll be better off too.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe songwriting, thinking about all this stuff is so heady, isn't it? Makes you dizzy to think about.
It really does. It's like it always is like, I try not to think about it too much, though sometimes it definitely seeps in when I'm on a low or it seeps in when I'm not paying attention to it. Okay. Actually.
Okay, interesting.
And then I'll be like, fuck. Wow, we have to make some fucking money, don't we? Jesus Christ.
Are you at a stable position in your career now? And is it come from live more than recording?
It's come mostly from songwriting. At this point, it's mainly just from writing stuff with Phoebe and stuff like that. But yeah, I feel pretty stable. I feel like the last 2 years have been the most stable of my life, where they've been the least gun to my head.
Yeah, that's good. That must feel good.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it makes me like, it makes it actually a little bit easier to work. Because more time, less time is devoted to worrying about next month and whatever bills need to be paid.
It's good to hear, man. I mean, the record is awesome. Paradise Pop 10 is really lovely. It's interesting. I was describing it to a friend the other day, and I kind of described it, and I realized what I was describing is like sort of the vibe, or probably the lyric writing, or what I get from the lyrics. And I went back afterwards and I was like, oh, sonically, it sounds different to how I remember it. Because sonically, it kind of goes the breadth, doesn't it?
We do a lot of, we did a bunch of funny shit on it. Yeah.
It's good rock and roll moments.
Yeah, there are. It's a very, I guess that's what I mean. Like, I have no idea what genre of world we're in at all, because we're just get kind of like bored and be like, oh, that would be cool to make it sound like, what if we did like a grunge song?
Yeah. But you can, right? It's the rules.
Yeah.
There's no rules.
There really aren't any rules. I love not having them, and seeing if, I don't know, it's just fun to see. The songs are always so much like tell you what their character is supposed to be, and it is fun to let them be who they are supposed to be.
Real life more interesting than fiction.
Yes, I think so.
I often think that about songwriting, because sometimes you read a lyric, you're like, did that actually happen? And you kind of find out one way or another, you're like, that happened, that thing in that song happened, what the singer's talking about. You're like, oh damn, that's real. Yeah.
Definitely does happen.
Thanks so much for your time, Christian. Appreciate the chat.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. The person I'm on tour with told me to say hello to Clara Mann.
Yeah, I know Clara. She's brilliant.
Yeah, she's the best.
Hey, just to end with Christian,
yeah.
I think there's something fun in thinking about like the biggest work mistakes or work gaffes.
Oh, yeah.
Have you had any real moments where you think, okay, if I get to the end of today, I've done all right?
I mean, I've had a lot of, I have those a lot in my, just on tour sometimes, but I have, I mean, I was, when in my early 20s, I did a lot of just random fucking things to make money that were often like, all right, I don't really know what I'm doing at all, but let's just see how long until I get caught. And that's typically how I feel also playing music sometimes, is like go in and play there was a show recently or whatever where my guitar was out of tune the entire fucking show. And I was like, I honestly can't hear anything to get it in tune. Let's just see if it works, I guess. But no, nothing comes immediately to mind as like a particularly funny story, other than the overarching feeling of my life as it comes to the idea of work is all one long gaffe.
So there was Christian Lee Hutson here on 101 Part-Time Jobs. Paradise Pop 10 is out now and he's touring a bunch, so go and find his dates on his socials or website. Thank you for being here. On Thursday, we've got a chat that happened over the weekend live at Leeds Fest, where I spoke to Six Music's Emily Pilbeam, Simon Ricks, who's the bassist of Kaiser Chiefs, Hang Lington, and also GK from Venus Girls. So that's coming out on Thursday. In the next couple of weeks, we've got episodes with Maruja, Imogen and the Knife, Wombat, Hello Mary, Medium Build, Nilofer Yanya, Barty Strange. It never stops. It's 101 Part-Time Jobs. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't. See you soon.
101 Part-Time Jobs is hosted by Giles Bidder and produced by me, Olivia Swash. This has been a Mighty Moon Media production.
Part-time jobs, part-time jobs, part-time jobs.
You know, the average hospital visit can cost you around $12,000. So, do you have that kind of extra money lying around if you get sick? Me either. That's why health insurance is so important. Today, you can get health insurance plans for a couple of dollars a day and have health, vision, and dental insurance for you or your whole family. If you're moving or changed or lost your job, we have health insurance options perfect for you. What if you need health insurance for only a few months? We have short-term insurance options ready for you right now with fast approvals and cheap rates. Whatever kind of health insurance you need, we have it. One quick phone call and we'll find you the best health insurance options for you and your family for free. Call this number, 800-352-7084. 800-352-7084. 800-352-7084. For your free health insurance quote, call 800-352-7084. Paid for by healthinsurance100.com. Attention timeshare owners. This is an urgent consumer alert from the Timeshare Exit Hotline, a national company specializing in helping consumers legally get out of their expensive timeshare contracts. We're offering you a way to legally get rid of your timeshare. So if you're fed up with the maintenance fees that keep on coming and want to learn if you can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, call today. Even if you've tried before and were unsuccessful in getting rid of your timeshare, call today and see if we can help. We offer a complete 100% unconditional client satisfaction guarantee. Make this completely free call and learn how we can help you legally put an end to your timeshare nightmare once and for all. You have nothing to lose, so call right now to qualify and receive a free consultation. 800-951-6756. 800-951-6756. That's 800-951-6756. Paid for by Airtime Media.